Welcome to episode, I think 12, right, guys? Episode 12 of Wednesday Night Live. We got a great show planned for you guys tonight. We got Tim with the latest news. Tim's going to also do an unboxing today of his ZampleBox Salt Box, his January box.
What the heck is that?
Who is that? Don't watch the show. Tim's going to do the latest news and also do his January salt unboxing. We got that on today's show. But before we get into that, there's something I want to read off. It's something I did last night. I put together. It's my way of kind of helping us in our community communicate with people outside our bubble. And I think a lot of times we run into that problem on how to express what's going on in our industry with these people on the outside that may not have addictions to cigarettes or alcohol or whatever it is. So I'm going to read this off, and then you guys can comment on it, and we'll talk about it during the show. I want to take a few minutes here to talk about our situation and how it's coming down to this community on saving this product that has changed our way of life. Now more than ever, we need to fight back, not as individuals, but as a community. It's time for everyone in this community to step up and make a difference. And that difference starts at home, at work, and with friends. It starts with you being calm and sticking to the facts when discussing our situations with others, especially with non-smokers. Start with and be firm and on the fact that you and nobody in this industry wants to see children smoking or vaping. Also, just stick to the facts on how. Don't just stick on the facts on how safe this product is than smoking, but talk about the freedoms that are being taken away from you and millions of others on making healthier choice. Use examples that the person can relate to that would be upset if the government took them away. And again, stay calm. Don't get upset if you're not getting the reaction you're hoping for from that person. Not everyone's going to agree with you, and it's essential that we don't add any more haters to our industry. Simply thank that person for listening and move on. When discussing MSA, be calm. By doing this, you won't come off as one of those conspiracy nuts. And please stick to local dollar values. I say that because most people don't give a shit about what's going on in other states. So have your facts ready for your state, your city, and your county. And again, stay calm. Calm is going to be the phrase here. That's the most important part of this, because we need to stay calm when we're communicating these facts and this information to these people. Because I've seen far too many times what happens when we start talking about MSA money. We get fucking crazy. I've seen it at vape shops. I've seen it on podcasts. The guy's eyes just blow up. His face turns red. Hands are flying over the place. You look like a nut job, and you look like one of those guys that thinks, 8 people shot John F. K. So, just stay calm and stick to the facts. And don't forget to share your story. And even here, be calm and stick to facts. Stay away from saying how healthier you are. Stop saying that, because especially if it's someone that's a stranger, he doesn't know you. He doesn't know if you're healthy or not. But if it's someone that has seen the transition that you have gone through, yes, bring it up. I also added these 5 points when telling your story, and the 5th one you guys may agree with or you may disagree with, but I'll explain why I think it's important. But the first one, number 1, how many years you smoked? How many cigarettes you smoked a day? Number 3, how long have you been off of cigarettes? And 4, how important flavors have been in your transition? Now, the 5th one, again, you may agree with it or you may disagree with it. Don't say you would go back to smoking without flavors, especially if you've been vaping for a long period of time. You guys think of it as that person, on the outside, they're looking at you when you say that. But I think it'd be better just to say, hey, listen, there are millions of new vapors out there that may not have the ability to fight off these urges. I mean, you think about it, you have a complete stranger that come up to you, you go through all this information to them, you tell them about your history, and then you tell them, hey, I go back to smoking if I didn't have flavors. And you just told the guy that you haven't had a cigarette in 7 years. Well, to me, if it was me, and this is the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that statement for the first time. And I think a lot of people outside looking in are thinking the same thing. They're thinking, well, this guy, all he's done is traded one addiction for the other. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, I've gotten that response from other people. So I think it'd be best for us to just say, hey, look, there are, there are thousands of new vapors coming in, transitioning from smoking to vapor, and flavors are important. And so it just sounds better. We sound better, and it doesn't sound like, hey, look, yeah, I've been vaping for 7 years, and hey, if they take it away, I'm just going back to smoking cigarettes. And that's how that guy's going to look at it. I can guarantee you that most people that hear that are going to say, well, seems like all you did is trade one addiction for the other. So saying, hey, there's thousands of people that are transitioning to vaping from smoking, and flavors was a big part of my transition that made it successful. So I think it's better to say that. You may agree with me, you may disagree. Let me know in the comments, and we'll look through those during the show. And it's time we take this fight outside our bubble. And that's the key thing. We need to take it outside of these vape group communities, outside of these Facebook groups, and start sharing that information with people around us every day. And we need those people to help us. Right now, we need non-smokers and non-vapors to be on our side for once. And it's time we start bringing those people in. So I'm going to end this by saying, do your homework, stay calm, stay focused, and stick to the facts. That's it, guys. I just want to get that out there. And you guys can comment on that and how you feel about that. But I think the fifth one, to me, and maybe I'll ask you guys, I mean, does it come off if you were just somebody that doesn't smoke, doesn't vape, doesn't have any addictions, and you hear someone say, I haven't had a cigarette in 7 years, but if you take my flavors away from me, I'm going right back to smoking cigarettes. To me, if I was that person, that's the first thing that popped in my mind, is just like, well, wait a minute. It sounds like all you did is trade one addiction for the other. Do I sound like you get where I'm going with that, Tim?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, I think the average vapor, somebody who's been in the game for quite a while, probably is not likely to go back to smoking. I think our feet are well rooted enough that we have enough channels to try to figure it out. I think the ones that you have to watch out for are the newer vapors, the ones that have only been in the game months to, say, a year or so, and they could quite possibly still be in a period of dual use, or right, really still struggling to find that right device to kind of keep them in that place. And then we all have, everybody has stresses in life.
Right.
And, I think that vaping says something for that part of ourselves too. So I certainly am going to raise my hand and say, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to ever say,
Right,
well, if you take away my flavors, I'm going to go back to smoking. That doesn't mean that I figured it out and I know where to get what I need to get. I'm just saying, I think my options would be, let me see what's left over, and if I can somehow muscle through with that, or would I just potentially look at going down the path of quitting altogether?
Yeah.
I don't, and I think if that was the average answer for most people, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I'm just going to say, I don't know. Does that really substantiate our argument? Because if someone said, well, what if they did take your flavors away? What are you going to do? I would hope people wouldn't say go back to smoking, but I do think that you have to hang it out there as a potential, because there are some people who don't want to get rid of the habit.
Right. And that's why I said, explain to that person, or say to that person, yes, there are thousands of, maybe million. I'm not going to say millions. I don't know how many transition from vaping to smoking every day, but thousands sound about right worldwide. So I think it's best to let that person understand how important the transition and having flavors in the beginning is. And yes, it is important now to us, but when you hear 7 years, and then you hear the guy say, I'll go back to smoking cigarettes. To me, even my aunt kind of looks at you, and she's been a nurse for 35 years. And that was her first response to me when I read that. She goes, that makes sense, because if I heard someone say that to me, the first thing I would think is, well, you're just trading that addiction for this addiction.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot in the general conversations that I have with people who are non-vapors, non-smokers. Nothing, like they just, they might have their alcohol vices or whatever. So I try not to use any of that as leverage in the conversation. Jackson had a comment saying that as a consumer, he thinks that cigs are completely out of the game.
Yeah.
And he's saying that the only other options are dip and stealth vaping. Well, I would say stealth vaping is probably where I go first. Never was a dip guy. I think, and I've thrown this out for, maybe it's something I research and talk about next week. But now they've got these alternative cigarettes that are coming out now. These hemp cigarettes like Tat and
Yeah.
some of these other ones that don't have tobacco and don't have nicotine. I don't know if that resolves the issue. But yeah, I mean, it's just I hear that all the time. Oh well, all you've really done is just trade one addiction for another, and it's like, well, I mean, I guess you're right to a degree, but I certainly have traded it for a much healthier
Healthier.
alternative
Yeah.
than the one that I was partaking in before. So whether or not it is that I choose to consume nicotine on some level, I can almost assuredly guarantee you that the nicotine content that I'm intaking now can't even measure up to a cigarette.
A cigarette.
So I mean, it's a really you're making that a really tough argument.
Yeah.
You know, to say that I'm, you know, I just basically got, you know what, I will then fine. Let me keep my nicotine. I'm much happier not having the 4,000 other chemicals that are fucking blackening
Yeah.
my lungs and
Yeah.
causing me to go closer to COPD and probably death.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like with that is when I went from smoking to vaping, I was actually able to have something that had a better like flavor to it. Like in smoking, you only had the menthol and non-menthols, and that was it. I was actually able to explore with different tastes and have something different. And then I also had the ability to help myself get off using nicotine altogether if I wanted to, or use a very minimal nicotine if I wanted to. To me, the addiction to nicotine, a lot of it, it's not because all cigarettes were all like contain the same amount of nicotine. The only difference is the filter itself.
Yeah.
So with vaping, you have the option to quit if you want to. You have the option to dull down your nicotine as much as you want to.
Right.
You have that ability in yourself to do something for you, not because somebody's making you do something, not because somebody's forcing you to do something. And that's what I talked to my customers about too quite a while ago is when you use these products, you have the option to change your lifestyle. You have the option to do this.
Yeah.
And now all that option is being completely taken away without even, their input.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty
And
much a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, legislator is going to listen to you, but I think the he's going to listen to you because you're a voter. But I think the general person on the street has no concerns about what's going on as far as vaping, doesn't care about it. Obviously doesn't care about cigarettes because cigarettes been around forever and it's killing people every day and no one gives a crap about it. But when you're talking to somebody on the street that has no idea, because we all have a few friends that have zero addictions, don't have a alcohol addiction, don't have a tobacco addiction, don't have a chocolate. It's just this average person who just doesn't understand what we're going through. And I think when you say that, it just to them, to me, it seems like that person automatically goes, well, you're just trading one addiction for the other, and doesn't really care that it's a healthier alternative. Or it's something that you can wean yourself down to zero. He doesn't care about any of that thing. He sees that you basically have traded that addiction for another. Yeah. And I think if you stress the importance of the beginning vapor and need for those flavors, I think it makes more sense than just saying, hey, I've been vaping for 8 years. I just go right back to smoking cigarettes. And I don't think a majority of us that have been vaping that long say that, but I've heard a few people that have, and I don't know those people's lives.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I think it's a viable argument when you are wrapped up in the advocacy of it all, because when you're talking to politicians, you can't eradicate that commentary and just not use it at all. Now, if you want to have a private conversation with someone like a friend or someone like a one-on-one, that's a personal thing. But when you're in front of legislators or council members or people who are closer to the decision-making process, which I honestly don't feel that it should be a governmental choice to tell us what we should or shouldn't do as adults and involve ourselves in that regard. But you can't just take it away because you are speaking for the whole. Like you could say, okay, well, personally, I'm not going to go back to smoking.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But let's talk about the other, potential millions of people who are just now coming into the fray. and they're more likely to go back to smoking, which is what they're trying to get off of. And they've tried all that other shit. They've tried the patches and the gums and the therapies and the hypnosises and like all that other yah, and that didn't work for them. And now they found something that is going to work. And now you're going to say, well, because of some other extraneous reason, we're going to take away that adult choice from you.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's wrong, because you are going to push those people back to smoking.
Right.
But underneath the surface, that's what they really want. They're not listening to your sort of emboldened plea and care about your general feelings. They're looking at it from a political standpoint. But here's my question back to the room, back to you guys. In all your conversations, have you ever found that you get typically a little bit better response from the people who don't have the addictions or never had the addictions, as opposed to people who argue with you that have maybe something else, like they're just a smoker in general and they just don't agree with vaping, or there's someone that, I wouldn't call them a hypocrite, but I would say, well, they might not smoke or vape, but they drink, or they have some other, kind of, personal vice that they like to latch onto. And I find that sometimes those people become the hardest ones to have the conversation with, smokers. I've had smokers come up to me out in front of the club, and I remember this explicitly, out front of 37 Main, and a local guy I know, him and his wife are both smokers, and they walk right up to me and they're like, that stuff will rot your teeth. And I'm like, yeah, well, can we turn you inside out and take a look at your fucking lungs, bro? I mean, really, that's the argument that you're gonna fucking pick with me? Because in all honesty, I could probably get new teeth faster than you can get 2 new lungs.
Yeah.
If you're not 6 feet under already,
you don't need a donor for teeth. Yeah. You can just go to the dentist and get a whole new set. It'll cost you.
And Sarah brought up a good point too. She knows quite a few people, which is a good argument to have, because that's something that you can substantiate your conversation with Sarah when you say, well, I personally am here. This is where I am in my journey, whether I choose to continue the process. But I know people that have gotten off of it completely or are on zero nic. Right. So, that's a choice you don't get with cigarettes. I can't get rid of the nicotine in a cigarette unless I quit them altogether, or you go to one of those cigarette alternatives, which...
Yeah, that thing that we used to all say when we smoked is like, oh, you know what? I think I'll switch to lights. It doesn't matter, guys. We all know that now. But
that's like saying I want the light ranch on my salad.
Yeah. Because we've all said it. It's like, okay, yeah, I need to quit smoking. Maybe I'll just go down to lights. And then you realize you're smoking more of those cigarettes than you were smoking the other ones.
Yeah, but I don't think the lights alter the amount of nicotine.
No, they don't. I think or the chemicals.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is though, like when I smoked, like I started only smoking as like a stress reliever. Like I would have stressors, I would have a cigarette, and like just high stress situations, and that itself is actually the point of where it turned into a habit.
Yeah.
So basically, I found out that I found out I actually had a routine when I would smoke cigarettes. When I get in my car, light a cigarette, start driving, and then when I park somewhere before I go inside, I always have a cigarette. When I leave, I have a cigarette because I don't know when the next place I'll be able to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
And when I drank, it was just like a chimney, especially in a place I could smoke inside or smoke outside or whatever. And that's helped severely cut me down though too, is understanding what my stressors were, to understand like why I'm vaping and at times like vaping more than I should at most times. Most of the time it's just, I use 3 milligram in most of my devices, and I vape here and there, and then I put it down and just keep doing my thing.
Yeah. And to Donna's point, she's 5 years smoke free. Yeah. Congratulations, Donna.
Congratulations.
40 years smoker off them stinkies. That's what this whole thing. That's what this is all about. I to your point, I agree. I think, but that's where it comes down to where we are personally, right? Because I think quitting anything is recognition of your willpower to want to stop that. So I've been vaping for 7 years. I don't want to quit vaping. I enjoy vaping. Now I could alter my nicotine levels, but I mean, I honestly, I think for me at this point, I mean, I'm at 6 and 3 on most stuff, unless it's my pods, obviously. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to really necessarily quit vaping, but I am happy that I'm cigarette free. Like I'm not smoking cigarettes at all. Like I don't, I mean, I'm not a dual user or anything like that. It took me a little bit longer to get away from cigarettes. I'll explain to people why that is. And it's not because I didn't want to, but the job that I had at the time I started vaping, I had just gotten into the IT field, and it was an SAP implementation. And for those who are familiar with SAP, if you use it at work, for the IT side of it, SAP stands for suitcase and a passport. That was sort of our affectionate name. And I started traveling a lot. Like I never went freaking anywhere, like Canada, maybe once. And then all of a sudden, like my first time, leaving the country again was off to like Australia and Singapore and New Zealand and Dubai and all these places all over the globe. And the laws are different in each place. And so as a vapor, and you go into Singapore, you can't vape in Singapore. Like you can't buy it there. You can't, and you risk bringing your gear into that country. Like they could easily just go through your bags and decide to take it if customs flags you. So there were times when I had to go, I wouldn't say had to, but I chose to go back to smoking because that was the thing I could have without an argument in those countries. Yeah. So I had to research, like Dubai, technically that's another place where, you can't, you can risk bringing it in. I saw people in Dubai vaping, and I'm thinking, I was like groveling because I didn't have mine, but I didn't want to lose a $150 device at the border.
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah, and so I think sometimes I got lackadaisical. It was like, I'm just not even going to bother with it. I'm just going to go ahead and buy smokes at the duty free and just deal with it because I don't want, I know I can smoke.
Yeah,
but I don't want to have to question the vaping.
Yeah,
so.
I think Thailand was that the president. I don't know what they call it, emperor. Isn't that the guy that said he was going to shoot people?
Yeah, there was an article I think on Bill's page about Thailand, and it was and Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. There was a couple I think about Thailand. There was one about an 18-year-old kid who apparently was in the hospital and was jacked up, and he had been secretly vaping, and not telling his parents or anything like that, and and he was afraid to tell them that's what he was doing. And I called shenanigans on that because I mean I think he was doing something else. Yeah. And I think in those countries, you tell them you were doing that, and that's even worse than the penalties are for vaping. And then, Bill, was it the one where the guys were kicking down the door, where they had the guys in the camo and they were like raiding the front door of that little place where it looked like the feds raiding a shop or something? Yeah. And they were, and yeah, it's sketchy. Like you don't want to get locked up in another country for doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. So that was another reason why.
Yeah. Well, one of the other points that I wanted to make is just be calm about it too, guys. I mean, just don't get. I know we're all passionate about it, but honestly, you think about it. If you got this guy, especially when, am I right? Have you guys noticed that as soon as we start talking about MSA money, people just get angry, and just start, your eyes bubble out, their face turns red, their fists are flying. And keep in mind that when you start and the reason I said to talk about your local state and your city and your county when you're bringing up money, because it's hard for the average person to fathom those numbers that you're going to throw out there for MSA. You start saying billions of dollars, and you start saying, they're only spending 5 to 10% of it on harm reduction and all this. You come off sounding like you sound like a conspiracy theory, because most people can't fathom that amount of money being squandered through the U.S. government, and they don't believe it. So it's best to stick. Hey, you live in California, stick to California's numbers. Hey, this is how much money comes in every year from MSA. This is how much our state is using it for harm reduction. This is where the rest of the money is going. Can you see why they want to get rid of vaping? But when you start throwing 9 billion, 7 billion, 20% there, 10% here, 5, you look like you're just pulling numbers out of your ass.
Yeah, well, personally, I try to stay away from the number in general. I
Yeah.
just started off by asking people had they ever heard of the MSA, the Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement, and did they even understand what that settlement agreement is about? And you'd be surprised, not a lot of people even know that it exists.
Good
And
point.
it doesn't generally impact them directly, but it's important for the argument or the conversation to talk about because it's a fact.
Yes, eggplant is.
Yeah.
Everybody always brings up the eggplant and tomatoes, Tim.
Yeah, well, no, because it's true. I
It's
mean,
true. It's
I
true.
don't know that we spend our time extracting nicotine from eggplants.
Yeah.
I would think tobacco is probably a little bit more higher volume product to get your hands on. I have not exactly been driving through the Midwest and seen fields of eggplant plants. You know, and like holy crap, what's with the deal with all the eggplant? When did everybody like eggplant all of a sudden?
What the
Oh no,
hell?
it's a nicotine harvesting
Yeah, it's a
facility.
We don't use
So-
the nicotine. We don't use the eggplant for food. This is just for harvesting for nicotine.
No, it's typically
It's a tobacco field.
It's a thing that I probably don't eat too much of.
Oh,
but yeah,
eggplant parmesan.
yeah, but like I talked to my parents about it. I explained the process to them, and you know, and I think in this last political cycle, I think a lot more has come to light, specifically because we have a real time issue that's affecting us.
Yeah.
Most of the time we turn a blind eye from politics because we just don't want to be bothered with it.
Oh, Bill.
Exactly. The chickens are guarding the eggplants. Exactly. You got pissed off chickens who were mad you're taking the eggplant away from them. Yeah, but I mean, I think this political cycle has brought us all into the scope of politics because now eyes are on us and our eyes are on what everybody else is doing. And a lot of people have been directly impacted by some of the decisions and things that are happening around us, not to mention all the negativity on the social media platforms that we have to deal with. I mean, just being on Twitter for a day, you pretty much want to punch a fucking wall.
Well, I think it's, and one of the good points of it is a lot of these people that are vaping today never really kind of paid attention to politics. And now for the first time in their lives are realizing how corrupt and nasty it can be. And it's just, you know, there's nothing worse than having something, you know, taken away from you. Think about it when you were a kid, you didn't get A's in school. Your mom I didn't have a cell phone back then, but she would take something away from me. And that's how I feel right now. It's like everyone in this community and industry, I feel like I'm a 10-year-old and my mom is slapping me for doing something wrong and she's taking this away from me.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how I feel.
What frustrates me the most though is that we're all making a concerted effort to do something that we all agree isn't 100% healthy, but it's a healthier alternative for us. And then we're enveloped by lies and propaganda. And that if that doesn't tell you something about the system in general, when there's an issue to be pushed, that you can see how money and organizations can mobilize around a group of people and take something and twist it so horribly that there are just way too many people sitting in the sidelines that will take that word at face value instead of going to the horse's mouth, and talking to us. Like, I mean, let's be real. Has government or council or any of these facilities that are making decisions for us bothered to sit down with the vape industry and talk to all they do is just give you a 2-minute window to say your piece, and then they're like, okay, well, fuck you. We're still going to ban it anyway.
That comment's got to be from Brian.
What?
The stat stuff.
Yeah, that was absolutely me.
Yeah, yep. I'm just for fun.
There's your trivia question for the bar, kids.
Yeah, just for fun. As Brian's our stat guy, and this is his bumper.
Nuclear reaction with a flux capacitor. Carry the two, changing its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider. Fuck you, science.
That's Brian. Brian is our stat guy, and anytime Brian throws out stats, he's going to get that bumper.
Well, I was reading the one comment from Zachary. He said eggplants contain 7 milligrams of nicotine. I'm like, is that actually how much? So I did some research real quick, and it's actually not.
He Googled. That's his research. That's called
exactly.
Google.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Sorry,
I
I didn't understand.
how much is actually in there.
I just spoke to my Google. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Kids.
Hey, Google, order.
Yeah. Hey, Jackson. Rip was done. He made a grand exit.
Yeah.
And then he went back to another channel where he actually already had this other channel, which was it was all about kids and stuff, like, for little kids. And then I think he started missing the attention.
Yeah.
And he came back. He's a little different now. I don't know. To me, he just seems a little different. I think he lost the step by stepping out. He kind of let other people kind of consume the vacuum. And so, when you go back to him, he does his reviews in the car now. He doesn't do them like in his room.
Yeah. What is up with that? Maybe his wife told him to tear down the studio.
I don't know. I mean, hey, kudos to the guy. He's helped to get a lot of people off of smoking. Whether or not you agree with them, I mean, any of them. I mean, they've all played a part in helping people to.
In the beginning, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have learned how to do a majority of the builds I learned in the beginning. I mean, his build videos at that time were just far above anybody else's. And one of the things that I think he's really good at doing was explaining the technique. And I think he just communicated that technique a little better than most people did. When it came to building in the beginning. And now, of course, we've got a lot of guys that are doing just amazing build videos with like 6 camera setups.
Yeah. Well, I think the controversy around Rip for a period of time was the fact that, a lot of people felt he didn't really care about vaping, that for him it was all about getting paid and sponsorship and getting monetized. And so, of course, every device he touched or reviewed, he gave a stellar feedback on. And I think that's where people were like, oh, he's just doing it to get paid.
I think a lot of people didn't realize that he was at the point where he can pick and choose what he reviewed. So he basically stated that before. I remember in one of his videos that he's going to praise everything that he reviews, and that's a reason because he actually chose that product and he chose to review it because he knew it was a good product, and you weren't going to see you weren't going to see the products that they're having door issues. You weren't going to see the products that were having zero atomizers found on there. You weren't going to see those products on his page. So you'd had to go somewhere else to see that stuff because he was going to review products that he enjoyed and he thought were working properly. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you actually saw him really tear apart a product and just say it was shit? It's pretty hard.
You don't. You don't. But I think that's worthy of a general review, because if that was, let's just say for sake of argument, that's the only reviewer that you cared to watch.
Yeah.
And then you buy this device, and then to you it's substandard, or you're not as happy with it as he. A good case in point is e-liquid reviews. That was my only avenue for the longest time. Was when before ZampleBox, before I even kind of had delved into that, and I was going through my journey. I mean, there was a billion vape e-liquid vendors out there, and it was like, well, I want new flavors. I want to try new things, and I missed the boat on going down to the local vape shop and getting the little tasting bars, where they'd have the little, Kang or Cardos or whatever, in a rack, and you could try them all out. So my only avenue was to watch e-liquid reviews, and to me, those are the worst fucking reviews you can watch. I mean, they have some merit, but a lot of them are just, you'd watch it and the person would paint that e-liquid out to be the best damn e-liquid on the planet, and then you drop $20, $30 to get a bottle of it. It get to your house and you fill up a tank, and it would taste like some
dirt,
dog's arse, and it's like so it was they were responsible for a lot of wasted money in my life.
Well, with the channels that do a lot of the vape review, flavor reviews, I would if you watch them long enough, you kind of figured out what their profile or taste went to, and if that was similar to yours, then it kind of makes sense if he raves about a product. That's how I used to do it. I kind of figured out, okay, I'm watching this guy, he's always shitting on dessert vapes, and anytime he has a dessert vape, he doesn't, he says it's horrible or whatever. But you just with juice, you just gotta. It's taste is subjective. You might like it. He might not like it. It's hard. I could never do a e-juice review.
I mean, and it's hard too, because I mean, even like even one particular flavor of juice, say for example, like the Monster PB&J, like they got the strawberry and the grape, right? And some people will vape it and they'll be like, I didn't taste the peanut butter at all. All I got was grape or strawberry.
Right.
And then I get it and I get both. So, I mean, we've all got tolerances that, cause an e-liquid to taste different to each person. So, I mean, that's just that's why you guys should just, if you can, go with ZampleBox.
Go with ZampleBox.
It's a sampling service. That's what it's predicated on, right?
Yep.
It's not designed to be your primary source of juice if you're buying a sub. The sub is to give you variety juices to taste every month so that you can help kind of determine what lines, what flavors, what products, what flavor Bible you're all about, and then you can go out and you can buy the retail versions of those. So that's why all of us are kind of I'm saving money too.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add about that before we move on? What we talked about, Tom? Anything you want to add? Say something so people can hear your voice.
I was waiting for everybody to get done so we could get into the rest of the show.
Okay, let's get into it.
Tom's a segue waiter.
He's a segue waiter. All right, we had a little fun with this week's Wednesday Night Live poll. So I thought we'd lighten it up a little bit and have some fun with it. You guys in the comment section and the viewers can add to this, but I went ahead and polled this question. I've done this question before, and it's pretty funny. But I asked,
pretty much your standard go-to question when you get bored.
Yeah, I get bored, and the question on the ZampleBox page is, it says, "Do you vape in bed after sex?" So. And we polled. I pulled 3 pages on this one, and you can see here. Let me boost it up. There we go. As you can see, 80 voters. Let me get that banner thing off of there. I always forget that. I don't want to cover Tim's face. He's so handsome. I don't want to cover his face.
I'm a train wreck.
He's a train wreck. Yeah. But we had 80 people voted yes, they do. They vape in their bed after sex. And then we had 31%.
Look who's first on the second option.
Tim's first on that one. Tim's first on.
Look who's second, though.
You are second, aren't you? And then we had no. I was really, we talked about this earlier with us here, and I was really proud that no one checked the box that says yes. They do it kind of sneakingly. Yes, but my partner doesn't know. So none of us are stealth vaping in our beds after sex, but we'll do it at Walmart. We'll do it at the movie theaters.
Or who pitches it as the best smelling Dutch oven ever?
Yeah, Dutch oven that shit. Pull those covers up. She ain't gonna complain about strawberry. That was the ZampleBox
option on there. So
yeah, that was the ZampleBox page. Batista. There. Oh wait, they had it.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, 2.
People stayed away from that poll like it had the plague or something.
And they were scared on that one. We had I like the
2
comment,
people.
What is this sex you're talking about? And of course, I threw him with the.
Well, then they should have answered. I'm alone. Oh well, maybe they're with somebody and just
I think people were scared.
They could be married.
They could be married. I think they were just scared. Let me zoom back here so I can go.
If you're scared to click, reveal who they are to give that answer? Who gives a rat's ass at this point?
I'm sure maybe their wives are on that page.
It could be.
It could be. They've been doing it. They don't want to give out the information. Let me get to this one.
Zach got escorted out of Walmart for
Way to
go, Zach.
There's worse things to be escorted out of Walmart for.
Yeah.
Did they walkie-talkie you the whole way? I got him. Yeah, we got him. We're walking him out right now.
On the Vape and Fagan page, 7 people said yes. 8 people said I'm alone during it, so it really doesn't matter. 2 said no, but we had one guy that says yes, but my partner doesn't know on there. Bad. You're bad.
We need to get that guy on the show.
But you're in.
How he
Well,
does
so
it.
you have to wait for the other person to like roll over and fall asleep. Like how do they not know that you're vaping in the bed? Clearly, their eyes are shut and they're just not even cognizant at that
Well,
moment.
you can just kind of roll over to the edge of the bed, take a hit, and blow it towards the ground,
I get, or just blow into your pillow or something.
and blow into your pillow. Yeah, don't Dutch oven it, because then she'll be like, "You have the sweetest farts I've ever smelled in my life."
I think I like you more now.
You more, you smell your farts smell like strawberries.
Exactly.
Fields of strawberries.
Yeah, when you said your farts smell like tulips, you weren't fucking lying.
You weren't
Right?
lying. You weren't lying.
It's the lychee. It's the lychee.
I guess it could be better smell than what is being smelled in that room at the time. I mean,
Were you in the children's section, Zach? Were you like near the toys when this happened, or were you like over in like the hardware section?
yeah, I was allowed to vape at Walmart, and I blew 2 big clouds in the measures. After the 2 big clouds,
I actually remember for a while there, 2015, I want to say it was, but there was reports of people vaping in all these different Target, Walmarts, Kmart's, and all that stuff for quite a while.
yeah,
Everyone's like, "Oh, it's not smoking until they can't smoke in here," and I'm like, "Come on, guys, really?"
Yeah.
I understand what you're trying to say, but you're making everyone else look really, really bad.
yeah, because a lot of those, I remember you're right, Brian, because back then in 2015, I remember a lot of those videos on social media where guys were walking through Walmart vaping and just like showing them, "Hey, look at me, I'm vaping through Walmart," you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really didn't help the industry's look.
No, it did not.
No, but I mean, I think also at that time, we all are with in the understanding that there is really no dangers of secondhand vapor exposure, and technically, it's not a harmful issue. But when you
to improve it, actually, it's been shown in California to actually improve the air quality.
It did.
Well,
In the
that's
vape
true.
shop.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a vape shop. They did air quality testing.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, when you have eyes around you that don't know anything about what it is that you're doing, I'm not here to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I think the obvious, like Tom was saying, is that people see that and then they're like, okay, that's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back then when we were it may have been even earlier, that we were everyone was in that like, hey, this is better for me, and the stores or like the theme parks didn't adapt to the vaping thing. And I remember walking through Six Flags in Vallejo here, and just the guy was like 10 feet in front of me, and I vaped when I was in there, but I would vape and kind of just blow it down, not a big cloud, but I had the guy like 10, 15 feet in front of me just blow this enormous cloud. And I remember a parent with their kids that were like 2 feet in front of me, and she's like she grabbed their kids because she's like, what the hell was that? And I could understand, like, if I were a parent and I didn't know what vaping was at that time, and I saw this enormous, and I mean, it was enormous cloud that came out of this guy's mouth, I'm grabbing my kids too and moving them away from there. You'd be like, what the fuck did that guy just do? Dude? How's that? Because it's almost, I mean, you guys seen the clouds. It's almost like, that shouldn't come out of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I don't think the average person who's never been exposed to a vapor is aware that the devices can do that sort of stuff. But I mean, I think in general, we should just respect all people's space. It's
right.
It's not about how I feel or what I know about vaping, but it's just not everybody wants that in their airspace. But that's not a way to substantiate our argument.
If I were a scientist, I would investigate the possibility of more people vaping in California and us getting more rain in the last 2 years, because I think we are blowing more vapor up into the air.
But let's look at the upside of California and vaping, which they were trying to take it away, is that, you can throw your vape out the window and it's not going to start a forest fire.
No, it's not. It's not
Exactly.
going to.
And now, why would you throw your vape out the window?
I'm done.
Well, I mean,
I'm clueless on that one. You're having a bad day.
Yeah. Well, was that one video, or was
Fuck this baby beast tank?
Yeah. Well, we've done that with a lot of. I won't go into it with a certain product we have thrown on the ground and said, "Okay, I'm done with this goddamn thing." But remember that video where the guy? I think it was a video or a meme where the guy is out vaping. And he thinks it's a cigarette, and in his mind, and he just throws it down, and he goes, "Oh wait, fuck! I gotta go back and beat that up."
Yeah. Hey, Jackson, we're going to address a little bit of that today in the news, and you're right.
Matter of fact, we are going to jump into Mr. Tim's segment
now. Oh my God, I'm unprepared. No, I'm prepared.
Are you not?
I brought my notes today.
You're always prepared. You're always prepared.
I never make the same mistake twice.
I'm gonna wait for all these papers that you keep tapping to grow in a big pile next to behind your wall there.
Brian, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I do not want my vaping news notes to look anything like the omnibus.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. I tell you, it's one of the best bumpers ever.
It is. Swifty in the news. All right, so we got a few for you guys today. Trying to mix it up. It just seems like the world is just so wrapped up in a bunch of negative news most of the time.
Say bullshit.
Going to hell.
Say bullshit, Tim.
Even if it is what most people would call news. So anyway, I've got a few for you today. Let me share my screen here.
Share that screen, Tim.
Share my screen. Fortunately for all of you here on the show, they're pretty short articles, so I'm not gonna get long-winded. But do most people care? Right straight away about this title. Like who gives a rat's butt if e-cig sales are slumping in the convenience stores? I think it's worth talking about because there's a lot of factors that could play into this happening in general. I think there are some people of the contingent that believe that vaping should be taken completely out of the C-stores altogether, simply because it provides a channel or an avenue for the kids to have easier access to them. And we could sit there and say, okay, wash our hands of the C-stores. And that helps with part of our issue, right? Kids can't get them. That's where they're going to go. They're not going to go to the vape shops because the vape shops, card or at least a little bit more, vigilant on exactly who's walking in the doors. But then on the other side of that coin, I think the C-store argument holds some weight simply because that is a channel for people who are trying to quit. Like, so if it's a smoker, somebody who's been smoking and they walk in and they just happen to see the Views or the Enjoys or the Blues or the Juuls behind the counter, they might be willing to take a chance on that stuff and try to enter that journey. So let's talk about a little bit why those sales are slumping. I don't know. You guys just want to look at the graphic of the Juul? I mean, who wants to look at tech? Or here's somebody's LinkedIn picture. Her name is Bonnie Herzog. She is she's an analyst at Goldman Sachs. Anyhow, let's talk about.
Send her my number, Tim.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll text her after the show. Because I'll just send.
You
her
ain't got a shot, John.
Yeah, exactly. So according to Nielsen reports, people are familiar with Nielsen. They're this all-knowing, all-seeing data mining capacity that knows what TV shows we watch and all this other crap. But according to their reports, and this is a 2019 report, by the way, so we're talking about a little bit of antiquated data. So obviously, it probably takes about a year to gather the results. But according to Nielsen reports, e-cig sales have slumped in convenience stores over the past 10 months. Shocker. Well, what's happened in the last 10 months? Not only have we been slapped with COVID, okay, but this is 2019, so it doesn't apply. But in those 10 months, that's when a lot of the Valley crap was coming out too, right? So people were getting scared. but mostly it's related to the fact that the FDA restricted flavors in closed pod systems. So Juul kind of openly and actively started removing their flavors from the shelf. There were some counties and states that basically forced people to take them off the shelves. But that is a primary reason as to why the slump started, right? Because people couldn't go to the store and get their mango and their whatever. I never vaped a Juul, so forgive me. I don't know. I don't know what flavors they had in general. I just still kind of like freak out when I go into a C-store now and I look at the cigarette rack behind the guy, and I just like I'm thinking to myself like, oh my god, I remember how many times I would come in here and have them get something off that rack, and now I don't even touch it anymore. So bottom line is convenience store sales have steadily declined since the 2019 report compared to the previous year after an increase or consistent increase year after year of 60%. So years prior to 2019, there was a 60% increase year after year in the purchase or acquisition of vape-related products in C-stores. But now it's on a general decline. So Juul's sales have dropped to a 15.6% decline compared to the previous year of being up over 50%. So when Juul was on the rise and going strong, when the flavor restrictions came down, Juul sales dropped off 15.6% in last year's report. Views did see some sales increases, so oddly enough, their graphic or their chart went the other direction, and Enjoy came down about 30%. So this is all within the last 10 months. Both Juul and Views have seen decreases in market share as well. So that means that their products are just not as competitive on the shelf. So whether or not they're still putting those products into the stores, their market share is falling to either falling either to other vape-related products or cigarettes in general, right? People are going back to smoking. This woman right here. See this chick right here? Her name is Bonnie Herzog. She works for Goldman Sachs. She's a financial analyst. She is attributing
my future wife.
Yes, your future wife. I don't know. She looks like.
Just kidding, guys.
I think she'd leave you one hell of a honeydew list. I think she would wear the pants, and you would just be at home painting fucking walls and fixing electrical outlets. But she attributed the slump in e-cigarette sales to the price, noting that cigarettes were becoming cheaper than the vape products were.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's true. I mean, we all started on this journey with under the predication that, it's cheaper than smoking.
Cheaper than smoking, yeah.
Well, I don't know about the collectors out there, but if you're just the average vapor trying to maintain your vaping habits, in some places it is. What is it, $16 for a 4-pack of Juuls? Yeah. How much did the device cost? Like, if you bought the kit at the store, what did the device itself cost?
It's between 20 and 25, right?
Yeah, so the device itself, a while back at the very beginning, was like the device and the charger and some other stuff was like $50, and now it dropped the price down to like $25 roughly. And then the packs of Juuls themselves, the 4-pack, is somewhere around 15 to 20.
Yeah, and which is why we question how a child could even maintain a Juul habit. Like
a two pod a day Juul habit.
Are they all siblings of Richie Rich?
Yeah.
You just got rich parents who just dropped them $100 a week for their
that's a lot of
allowance, right? And then they're just blowing it all on friggin' Juul pods.
Right, Tim? That's a lot of lawns.
That's a lot of lawns. I mean, but here was the argument that I always made about that in terms of the $16 pack of a 4-pack of pods, is if you read the stories about these kids, they were going through 2 pods a day.
Yep.
2 pods a day. That's equivalent to 4 packs of cigarettes. Okay. And then on top of that, if they're having to replenish, I mean, so you're 2 packs, that means 1 pack lasts you 2 days. Yeah. That means you're buying at least 3 packs in a week. So that's $45 a week you're blowing in Juul pods. I just don't think the average kid, maybe a 16, 17, 18-year-old, because they maybe have a job at this point and they have money to spend. But you go younger than that, they don't have that kind of cash.
Yeah.
At least not in my experience. I mean, maybe I just got stingy parents.
Well, yeah. Well, when we were 16, it was back in the 80s. What was your allowance? $5-10?
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
And
I mean,
you had to really fucking work for that
I
5
had to go get a paper route just to kind of, make ends meet. So my takeaway from this particular article was more or less a question. So people feel free to comment on this as my question back to you guys, or you can stew on it and answer me next week if you feel like it. My takeaway was: does this mean that people are already switching back to combustible cigarettes? I think that's partly answered in the article. Or do you think that they've taken their business elsewhere? Do you think that it's slumping because now they're like, okay, I can't get my flavors in a convenience store, I'm going to hit the vape shop down the street because it says, vape, Joe's Vape on the building, or they figured out how they can buy that stuff online too. So maybe the slump is also attributable to people finding other channels to get things that they want or need, rather than the C-stores. I just, the C-stores aren't the most reliable place to buy your vape products anyway, because they're not going to be able to help you. They're not going to tell you, what's right, what's wrong in terms of habitual stuff. And are the slumps in purchasing due to less sales to kids? Anyone agree? Like, that's a question to the group. Do you think because the kids aren't buying them anymore, or do you think they're still hotboxing the tobacco flavor?
Well, okay, so there's a lot to like take apart here, as as kind of you were saying. What state is all in California again, right?
This has nothing to do with a state in general. This
it's nationwide.
This is an overall report claiming that e-cig sales overall have slumped.
So with that, to me, if you're looking at different ones going up and down, so Juul's going down, Vuse is going up, but in general, everything's going down. In general, everything's going down. It could be one thing in particular is regulations. Regulations are hitting a lot of shops hard. Different states are going to be different. So with that being said, that's going to drop everything down. Now, with Juul going down dramatically and Vuse actually going up, that could be just something as simple as the C stores, or where you usually get the Juuls, are actually watching them more closely, which means, as you're saying, like the younger people aren't buying those on anymore, so they switch to something else. That could be just something as simple as that. But to me, I mean, if we're looking at a general slump, I would say it's rules and regulations per different states are having a massive effect, especially like California, and you got Michigan, New York, and so all that is going to drive everything down. Plus, the pandemic actually helped with a big hit too.
Yeah, well, you have to kind of throw the pandemic out at this point, because this is a report based on 2019. So I think Bill's comment is a little bit more relevant. Yeah. I think because the Valley stuff was all over the news and in the papers, and so I think people were getting terrified because they were conflating the issue and not really addressing what we all knew to be the real issue. Yeah. And so people that were kind of new to the game or felt better safe than sorry position was a better stance to take. They were not buying what they would normally buy.
Yeah, they had a lot of kids switch to puff bars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but in general, I think overall the ants and the vape scare is probably what started the downward trend, and then the removal of the flavors after that only hurt it beyond that.
Right.
I don't know that I inherently agree with Miss Bonnie. I mean, John's wife, Bonnie Troncali. I don't know if I agree with her in the sense that it was really a majorly attributable to the cigarettes being cheaper. Because, I mean, if you have the relevancy of it, I don't know. I've never was a Juul user. I am a pod user, so I guess you could say I'm in that ballpark.
Yeah.
So I don't know how fast people were burning through a pod. The average pod person would burn through a pod. Did it take them a whole day? Were they done? It's only 2 mil in those little pods.
Yeah, I think too that maybe a lot of the convenience stores got scared with all the regulations going on and found it simpler to sell a pack of cigarettes. And I think the kids took that into consideration when they went into the C stores, maybe thinking, "Hey, I think with everything going on currently with e-cigarettes, I think it would be easier for me to get a pack of cigarettes today than say, you know, an e-cigarette or a Juul or whatever, or Puff Bar.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very strange that a C-store clerk behind the counter would be like, okay, if that person asks me to buy a vape, I'm carding them. But if they ask me for cigarettes, I'm not going to.
Well, I think they would in a way because of what was going on at that current time with people getting sick, and then with the focus with because back then you had Michigan, you had New York, you had New Jersey. Some of the other Connecticut. These are all states that really jumped on that situation that was taking place during that time, and really, that became nationwide. I think that when that happened, I think that was the first time that the normal guy, say in North Dakota, I'm sorry, Brian, said to himself, "Oh, what's this shit about e-cigarettes?" Because I think it became national at that point, and I think maybe that may have affected the way the guy at the C-store thought. It's like, hey, if I sell this to this kid, or the kid even said it to himself, I'll probably have a better chance of getting a pack of cigarettes than I do getting
That's
that.
possible. Let's do the math real quick. So, if you quit vaping and you quit buying that 4-pack of pods, and let's just say you did only use 1 pod a day, that's 15 times, that's $45 a week the average vapor would spend in pods going to the C-store. If you quit that out of fear or anything else and you go back to smoking, let's try to take an average. I think here in Georgia, I think a pack of cigarettes is somewhere in the $5 range, maybe high 4s, low 5s at this point. So let's just say $7, because I know like in New York and places like that, it's like it's $10. Yeah. So if you're a pack a day smoker, 7 times 7, so that's 49. So you're pretty close. You're not really spending much more or much less other than a slight differential to take on either habit.
That's true. Here's a question. Let's say like all these people who went into C-stores to buy Juuls, Fuses, and so that, and when they would go in to buy them, they'd say no, you can't because of regulations, whatever, and they gave them a card for a vape shop that's local to them. Do you think the numbers would actually have dropped as significantly as they are?
Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's say that Bob walks in the convenience store and wants Juul or Views or what have you, and they told him that they can't, that they don't have the flavor, or the person comes in and says like, "Oh, I'm scared because of value stuff. I just want to go back to smoking." What if instead those convenience store people, the workers, gave him a card to a local vape shop? Do you think the drop would have been as dramatic? Because then the vape stores could be like, okay, all this value stuff is actually wrong.
Well, of course. That would have been someone in our corner to try to perpetuate somebody who they recognize as trying to stay away from cigarettes. But I think that C-store is more about making their revenue. And I don't think that they would want to turn a customer away. If the guy just stopped, turned, and walked out the door, that's one thing because they're not getting a sale. But I don't think the average C-store worker cares about what your personal habits are. And I don't think that they would be in our court in terms of saying, well, I know this vape shop down the street. If you want to go find that stuff, they have it for you. It's possible that you could, but I just don't think that they would take an active part in that. I think you would have to have like maybe a vapor behind the counter.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because we kind of have something like that up here. It's a big small town where I live. There's like 4 people here. And
it's huge,
and 3 of them,
it's a huge town,
right?
Huge.
His wife, his child, and his roommate.
So anyways, like we know some of the people who work at convenience stores, and what we do is we actually give them our business cards. Like people who are looking for vape stuff, give them this card and have them come see me. I'll help them out, and that's kind of how it's helped us. In the bigger cities, it doesn't work so well because of that money mentality, I should say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You got that small town. I was born in a small town. You live in little pink houses in North Dakota.
Oh, God.
It's like yellowish. Pale yellow.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. I think with that small community mentality, everyone's kind of out there looking out for each other. But in when it's hustle and bustle and it's big city stuff, you're going to walk in and go, oh, I can't get my mango jewel pods. No, we're not allowed to sell them anymore. Oh, you know where I can get them? No, not really.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all the C stores. You can't go to the sheets down the street, even though I'm working for Quick Trip or whatever. I mean, they're just not going to direct you in the right place. So I'm hoping that people took it under their own wing and did their own research and go, well, where can I get my jewel pods? And here's the answer to that anyway, is that even if they walk into the vape shop, because we know damn well a lot of vape shops don't sell the jewels, they're going to be able to put something in their hands that's relative and get them right back on the same path again. So I'm hoping that people took that route. Well, we'll never really know. We just know that the poor C stores slumping
Right.
in
I was
sales.
just kind of throwing out like a scenario type. I mean, if we can find ways to do that, and I mean that help everything out and whatnot. But I mean, they're called convenience stores for a reason. You stop real quick, you get your crap and you leave.
That's true. It's in and out kind of stuff.
And if they don't have it, then whatever. I'll just leave then.
I
I
like the picture they're using for this article.
Well, because this isn't specifically aimed at vaping alone. This addresses, it encompasses tobacco products in general. So I guess we'll move on. If anybody has any commentary on the first article, and I'm sorry with all the flashing jewelry and stuff. I guess that's the power of the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because I was looking at bracelets the other day. So this is geared towards what I was looking at. Sorry.
Which one are you getting?
You should download
I'm not getting any of them, but I will tell you this one down here is a whopping $1,800 if you're interested.
You should get a program called Stop Ad.
It's got a cool ass skull on it with chains coming out of its teeth. I think it probably weighs a ton. I probably would walk around lopsided if I wore that particular bracelet. But at any rate, I don't need an $1,800 bracelet. That's just a bare fact. All right, so this one is about California again. Poor California just gets beat up in my reports.
Yeah.
All the episodes, I think I've reported on California the most because poor John lives in California, so he's the butt of my news reports. He's the butt end joke of all my news reports. So Concord, California, as of January 1st, has now passed a legislative law that bans people from vaping, smoking, toking, any kind of tobacco and or non-tobacco product in their dwelling that are considered multi-unit.
Yeah.
So that means apartments, condos, duplexes, and mobile home parks, just to name a few. So anything that has a proximity issue and is more than 2 units is considered close proximity or multi-unit. And so you're not allowed to vape, smoke, toke, none of that in your own apartment. And now, but their particular legislation or their what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot it. It doesn't matter. Whatever they want to install says that you can't even go outside now. You can't even go out onto your deck or your balcony. So, I mean, they're locking it down hard. Yeah. So, the only thing that I could not extract from this particular article, I did throw in, I threw condos in. So condos would imply you paid for that. You bought that.
Yeah, Bill said the ban also includes even if you own your own unit.
Okay, so yeah, I was going to review and I saw that I put condos. So it does mean condominiums, so you actually bought that unit. So the ban already covers vaping and smoking inside the units, but now extends to outdoor amenities, including decks and balconies. This policy also treats marijuana the same as tobacco. What accent was that? Tobacco. What accent was that? So the same policies apply. The city politicians who voted on this legislation kind of cite the popularity of vaping, and they try to say that due to the popularity of vaping, that they believe that it will renormalize tobacco usage. Yeah. So because people are vaping, it's just going to make people want to smoke more or hookah more or get high more often or whatever. But they are also, Concord is one of 63 local governments who've already banned vaping, smoking in multi-unit dwellings. The big fist punch comes at the end of all this. So here's a differential. So to talk about the San Francisco ban, yes, they have in fact installed the same kind of vaping ban. However, if you are found in violation of those laws, you can actually be fined. And they did not write into the legislation that if you are busted in your apartment or on your balcony vaping, that you could stand to be evicted because you violated the lease agreement. They took that out of the San Francisco ban. So basically, they can just continue to fine the living crap out of you. But I don't know that anybody can afford $1,000 fine every time they get caught. Whereas in Concord, they left that part in the legislation. So if you're busted in Concord, vaping on your deck, your balcony, or busted, I don't know how they'd find you, but busted in your own apartment, they can actually evict you.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill. Now I want donuts. Thanks, Bill.
That's true. So it just says that basically, in short, there are no fines to be levied by the violations in Concord as opposed to San Francisco, but that there are what they want the landlords to do is to write clauses into the leases, basically having you sign a clause stating that you will not vape, smoke, or any of that inside there. So basically, if you get busted, you signed a piece of paper saying that you said you weren't going to do it. Yeah. And therefore we now have grounds to evict you. But here's the real catch in all of this is that this policy legislation also opens the door for you to be subject to a civil lawsuit, not only from your landlord, but if you've got a Karen living next to you and she's worried about her freaking kids or you polluting her airspace, she can sue you. Yep. So this isn't about hot cups of coffee coming from McDonald's. I mean, she could sit there and take you to court, and I don't think most people could stand that. I mean, to have to deal with that in general and pay, for a lawyer to defend yourself, anything of that nature. Now, there was some caveats inside this particular article, I think only because it was coming from Reason.com, and their general response was that they didn't think that particular element of the policy would help to cause it to go one way or the other, but in fact that it would probably just make things more complicated if you got, people arguing and trying to sue you over vaping. What they thought would be a much better answer rather than city councils or city legislators deeming what adults can and can't do in those apartments. They felt that it would be better just to leave those decisions up to the landlords. Yeah. And the landlords could, as the proprietor, could decide whether or not they want to allow it in the apartments or on the balconies. Yeah. And then let the person who wants to rent there decide whether they want to live there or not. If they say, do you allow vaping and smoking here? Yes, we do. Okay, well, I don't want to rent an apartment from you.
And that's not a cheap city to live in, guys. That's not too far from my house. It's very expensive to live there. I even looked it up, and I think they went up. I think the average person there makes about $128,000 a year. So, yeah, maybe they can choose to live somewhere else. But can you imagine if you're somebody, your city does that to you? I mean, it's not easy moving your whole family because you vape. I mean, it's insane. And then be sued on top of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's sketchy practice at best. Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with these particular policies. I do think that it's not unreasonable to think that someone would want to live somewhere and not be subject to, they want clean air in the building that they're living in. But unfortunately, I just think that, if it was a smoking allowed building or something like that, I could understand that argument because we know that secondhand smoke can cause some real problems. But from a vaping perspective, there's no evidence to prove that vaping, secondhand vapor, let's just call it for what it is, vapor, is damaging to anybody. But again, people who don't know, and they're just going to think that it's poisonous and, It's going to kill you. So anyway, so just if you don't make $128,000 a year, then you probably won't be living in Concord, California, and this is no longer your issue. However,
But yeah, I mean, it's what we always talk about, Tim. It's just pay attention to what's going on around you, man, especially in your county, your city. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Tim brings it up all the time with the news and advocacy. Pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy that wakes up one morning.
I'll give you a great resource. So Bill in the chat here runs a wonderful public page out there on Facebook, where he shares everything from advocacy stuff just to a lot of the hot button topics regarding vaping and tobacco usage and stuff like that. His page is called Vape Distortion. It's a public page. You can go on there. He posts articles every week. I will admit I do borrow from his page from time to time. I try not to, although he's a wonderful resource, and it keeps it honest, because he doesn't just, he points out a lot of the hypocrisy in the industry and with the ants and stuff that's going on. He points out what's going on in a lot of the other countries. We're not the only country that's under fire from a lot of this. I mean, we like to argue about the point about, okay, well, UK public health, endorses it. I mean, hell, they have vaping shops in the hospitals, to get people off of smoking. Okay, well, that's great and that's wonderful, and they've got a little bit better of a system than we do. But the bottom line on UK versus the USA is they have a public health system, and the public health system is not driven on privatization. So they're trying to get their populations healthy. So if they have something they can use at their disposal, we're here. It's not really necessarily the case. Big pharma, big tobacco, they need to make their money. So they want you smoking and they want you sick. So here you have to make your own decisions. Unfortunately, we have politicians who want to take those choices away from us. So you need to pay attention. Research all your channels. It's not just about CASA. I mean, they only have so many resources to report on things that are going on in our environment, in our state, and around us. I mean, there's stuff that goes on that they're unaware of, and they rely on us as a community because CASA is us.
Yep.
I mean, they're not just some fully paid organization that has time for everybody to scour the internet and study local legislation to find out if bans are coming down. I mean, you know how many counties and and in states there are. I mean, we all have hundreds, maybe thousands of counties that can ban stuff at the county level. It's not just at the state level. I mean, it can get very granular, city, county, statewide. So, you have to pay attention. So you never know when your particular area might be under fire. So, I mean, I'm certainly not forcing people to spend all their time on the internet researching advocacy stuff. But it pays to just have your head on a swivel, know what's going on anyway.
I mean, everybody has, I think everybody has a Facebook page that's just about their city. I know I'm on mine. I have mine on there. You can keep track of things going to it because city council posts stuff on there. The police department posts stuff on there. So it's a great way to keep track of what's going on in your city. Just go on to Facebook and punch in your city, and you'll see they'll have every one of them I've seen has a Facebook page, and is a great resource to use to stay on top of what's going on in your city.
Yeah, I would, to Amber's point a little bit higher up, she said, so what's the burden of proof for someone to sue you? I would think that really is what it was going to boil down to. I mean, you have to have verifiable proof, like a picture of that person vaping on their balcony in order
sticky glass.
Yeah, I mean, just because your wife likes to make blueberry muffins, you can't just accuse, John the hubby for, I think he was vaping because I smelled blueberry muffins.
Blueberry all day long.
I solved this problem. Cut that city off the U.S. and just shove that bitch in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of us kind of feel that way about California.
Hey.
Except let John get out. Let John marry Bonnie and move to a safe state, and then and then we can take care of it.
I'm assuming Bonnie lives in New York, so I'm not going there.
And we'll just cut that whole West Coast right the hell off. Done.
Yeah. It's probably going to become its own country sometime in our lifetime. So we'll see. All right. So let's move on to the last one. This one is an advocacy one. This is exactly why I defer to the previous points made about keeping your head on your swivel. Anybody in the chat room that's from Kansas City? I don't know. We may have one or two. I don't know. But they actually had a flavor ban proposal on the table that fell short. So congratulations, Kansas City. You dodged a bullet. But I'm wondering if you even knew that Kansas City had a flavor ban on the table.
Yeah.
Now, this flavor ban didn't just target vaping. This is a flavor ban, which is kind of the MO nowadays. I guess it's become more of the common practice is to not just target the vaping, but they're coming after all flavored forms of tobacco, which is including menthol cigarettes, which has really been a bone of contention in a lot of the legislation that has happened in the recent past. And in fact, why the overall presiding California vape ban was put on hold. So basically, a petition drive was put out there, and they were able to, quote unquote, gather more than the 600,000 signatures required in order to postpone that the decision to proceed with that past legislation. However, in Kansas City, you had two council members. Their names are in here. I did not write them down in my notes. But I didn't do my takeaway from the previous one. So it was a question again. I just said, do policies by local governments make sense? I think the answer is a big fat no. All right. So cited as a social justice issue, the Kansas City officials looked to ban all flavored tobacco products, including menthol cigarettes, in hopes of improving health in predominantly black neighborhoods. So that was sort of the cog of the argument that was raised by these two councilwomen who authored the legislation. Both councilwomen were women of color, and they cited the importance of the legislation being related to overall public health and racial reconciliation. Their overall argument really, well, the main footprint for their argument was that they were saying that tobacco companies are notorious for targeting the African American communities due to the high number of tobacco retailers and pervasive marketing. So they did, like, I guess, a density study, and they found that in those particular districts and in those communities that there were a lot more stores that sold tobacco or tried to push cigarette sales in those particular communities, and they felt that that was a concerted effort by the tobacco companies to target the community and produce more unhealthy people than trying to help the community to get people away from smoking. These were the only two. Their names were. Now don't get on their Twitter pages and give them a bunch of crap. But Melissa Robinson and Rihanna Park Shaw were the two that championed the bill. They were the only ones that actually supported it, though. So when it came down to a hardline vote, they were outvoted 4-2. But this legislation was actually subject to open comment period. So they did have people that were for and against the legislation as well. And I left a bullet point in here from the previous ones. Good thing I didn't read that. So the local measure was supported by several doctors. Anybody remember that movie?
Yes.
Spies Like Us. Doctor. The local measure was supported by several doctors and public health officials. Well, duh. They're going to sit there and go, well, if we get rid of it, then, you're going to get a healthier community. I don't know. I just don't buy that. I don't think that people are just inclined to just flat out quit something because they can't get their hands on it anymore.
Yeah.
I think they're going to find other ways to get it. Now, mind you, another one of the arguments that was brought up in this particular open comment period is that okay, fine, you can ban it within the Kansas City limits, but people are just going to go to another county and get it anyway. So, I mean, you're going to ban it here, but you're not going to ban it next door. I mean, for some people, it's only a 20-minute drive to go buy a carton of cigarettes or go buy their e-liquid or whatever it is. However, the measure was wholeheartedly opposed by wholesalers and local store owners, claiming that the ban would hurt their businesses immeasurably by customers just going outside the city limits. Some of these retailers claimed, especially like gas station owners and like the food mart guys, they were saying that 70% of their business is driven by tobacco sales, or 70% of the revenue is driven by tobacco sales. So you take that away from those particular stores, and you're going to cause those places to struggle, because I'm sorry, not everybody needs to stop in for a death dog, or a Slurpee or whatever. Like most people are running in and grab their smokes or their dip, or or their flavored cigarellos or whatever. So and they have employees to pay. So that means people don't have jobs either. So that was a primary argument from the people who were not in favor of the legislation. And then they also raised the concern, the same store owners raised the concern that they didn't feel that the council government should be in control of what adults do and the choices they make for their own lives. They all agreed that they did not want children getting their hands on this stuff, just like the vapors don't want that. But in the end, they just didn't think that that legislators should reserve the right to make choices for our public health. This is my takeaway, and it's a question to the group again, to anybody watching the show or anybody here on the panel. Do you think that this legislation rears its head again here in the near future, but on a statewide level?
I see them kind of sneaking that ban like they did with all of them, just kind of sneaking it in with something else. And it's just a matter of time when they figure out something that may get the general public's eyes open, throw it in with some sort of school bill, or, hide it in the back pages of some, health issue thing. It's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because in this article, some of the people who didn't support the local city ban said that they would support the legislation on a statewide level. They think because they were the ones that were like, what does it matter whether you ban it here in Kansas City? The people can still get it. They can just drive next door and get it, and then you're pumping that revenue into another county. Right. So I think that people who live in Kansas, I don't think Dorothy lives there anymore, right? There's no place like home. Wasn't she from Kansas?
Click those heels 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. There's no place like home. Go back. I say keep your eyes and ears open on this one, because if it is making its way at through the county level, and they're going to struggle with getting the legislation passed, and this is their agenda, they're going to just go to the next rung on the ladder, and they're going to try to get it passed at the statewide level. So be vigilant, all you Kansas people.
That is right.
And that, my friends, is your news and advocacy for this Wednesday night.
Yeah, thank you, Tim, for that. And now, Tim,
back to you, John.
Back to me. It's back to me. All right. We're going to do. You're actually still on the clock, brother. You're going to do your box. Can you do you need a second to drink?
Let me get a drink of water here. I don't know.
Old saying. Let me wet my whistle.
Yeah, exactly. Let me whistle. I don't whistle while I work, but yeah, I already talk enough for 10 people. What's a little more?
Well, we can get a drink there. Everybody on the panel, take a vape.
Hey, wait for me.
Don't tell me what to do, but I will.
That's a good 3-point word there, Bill. Precedence. I could probably win in Scrabble in that one.
I think you'd win with just about any word.
Yeah. So we hear about precedent all the time. There's something that comes before it. So anyway, I'm just saying, for all you people that care about what happens to you, pay attention. Advocacy.
All right, got that.
Yeah, Jake got his first box. Or bought his first box. All right, so Jake, just so you can avoid the question in general, it takes a little bit longer for your first box to ship.
Yep.
Because they got to put you into the system, and so you might wait a few extra days before they actually push your box out the door. But all the successive boxes will kind of trigger automatically, because you'll already be a slave to the grind in other terms.
And as you go month to month, you'll be able to start adding the brands that you want that we have available. So if you want, say a brand that has 5 flavors or 6, I don't know which ones you subscribe to, the 6 or the 3, the 6 or the
You asking me?
12. But you can start picking your brands in your box.
Yes, that's true. So I think you start out with 1 or 2. Well, your first box, no. Anything after that, I think you get 1 or 2 slots automatically. So for people who don't know that, if you go into my next box after you get your previous one, you'll see little squares and they'll have little locks on them. You can click those locks and it'll send you off to another page where they'll have all the e-liquids that are in that range for what you've picked. And you can pick your own flavors too. So you don't have to get the surprise box.
Yeah. Actually going to gonna pull that up real quick so you can see how that works.
Yeah, show them, John.
You can come right up here where it says this will be not on your first box, but after your first box, you'll start being able to get slots available for you to pick. But you'll go up here and you will click on My Box. Oh wait, wrong screen. Wrong screen.
There you go. My next box.
And then I can start picking my next box. So I can click on here and it'll take me to my flavors that I have that fit my profile. And then I can start picking from whatever brand I want. So, and I've been here long enough I can pick my whole entire box. And when you get to that point, it's awesome because I want that. I'm going to add that right now.
I was gonna say, just go ahead and talk about your box, John.
You can just start adding the brands and flavors that you want instead of having ZampleBox pick them for you. You can actually order them. I do them every other one because I like to learn. It's a good way to find a new flavor by letting them, or a new brand or flavor by letting them pick. So I do every other month. Every other month, 1 month I'll pick, and then the next month I'll let ZampleBox do it.
Yeah, it adds another level to the sub box, because a lot of people are like you'll see a post here or there like, I got my box and they included some crap in there that I don't like, and I put, it's like, well, you can mitigate that by either tweaking your flavor profile, doing your reviews, like rate your juices to help with the algorithm, or just pick your own juices.
Yes, sir. Are you ready? Are you ready to go? Look at that box. It's pretty.
It's green.
It's
I don't like the white label in front.
What's that?
I don't like the white label in front.
I know. I don't know why they did. And you know what? Here's the other thing that was kind of like bothersome to me is that I knew it was shipping and I had my tracking number, and I went to the USPS Informed Delivery, and this past Saturday it said available for pick. I went, no, you didn't. This sedentary guy ain't getting in the car and going 3 miles away to go pick up this box. And then lo and behold, on Monday, it was delivered to my front door, not even in the mailbox. So this is an example of what you get monthly from ZampleBox, depending on what subscription you go with. So they have 3, 6, and 12, and not only the freebase, but bottles. 3, 6, and 12 bottle options in both the freebase and the salt nick categories. In the salt nick category, you can go with 25 or 50 milligram.
You need to sign that box for Zachary next time, okay?
Yeah, no, just don't put it on eBay. It won't make you any money. No, I know, but if I sign his box, then just don't put it on eBay. It's not gonna make him any money. Is what I'm trying to say. It won't be worth a shit on eBay. However, I have since recently switched my sub. I was doing a 6 milligram 12 box freebase. I have since switched it up to a 6 bottle 25 milligram sub. You can end the shameless plug. That just, after a while, that flashing, I feel like it's the microwave flashing at me constantly, and I'm like, I don't have a button on my side to end it. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of what I got in my box this month. I did not pick any of my flavors this time. The last 2 times I've left it up to the what do they call them? There's a name. I think it's on the menu. It says they're like a chef or something. They have like a.
Doesn't it say did Tony personally pick your box, or did they change that?
I think they may have taken that off because I'm looking at it. Oh no, Tony did. It's it just no, it's just a note from Tony. Anyway, but let me show the box. So inside the box you
You
get
got a note from Tony?
well, I think it's a generic thing from Tony that everybody gets on their menu.
Yeah.
Tony didn't pick the
Like
flavors.
Brian's getting all accept. I didn't get a note from Tony, man.
Exactly.
Me and Tony need to have a talk.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that you get foam, and then I got this nice little Happy Holidays card.
You're still getting that in January, huh?
Yeah, Happy Holidays from your ZampleBox family. Well, it's still the holidays.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
mean, let it ride through New Year's. You will always get some stickers, and they vary all the time. Most of the time, it's something with a robot on it. Most of the time. But this time, I got two sort of like where my hands aren't working. I got little holiday round stickers. So if you like to stick stickers
I
on
like
things,
that reef one. That's a new one. The reef
yeah,
one.
yeah. I mean, one has liquid bottles and a box mod and like I can't remember the name of it. I'm having a complete breakdown here. A mech mod on it. Sorry, a mech mod. The other one just has a wreath with some bottles on it. So they're cool little stickers. And then you get one of these each time, which is your flavor rating card. So whether you get 3, 6, or 12, you can go ahead and rate your top 3 and take a picture of it and post it on the ZampleBox family member page. We like to see those from time to time. If you guys, not a lot of people do it, but it's there for you to use, or you can just throw it away.
Yeah, don't forget to use the hashtag.
What hashtag?
Hashtag ZampleBox.
Oh, hashtag ZampleBox. Well, do you do that on Facebook as well as any other platform?
I would use it on all the social medias.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And then you get your juice card. This is what comes in the box, right? So you guys can kind of read it there. I don't know. It's probably too small. People on phones can't read that. So we're gonna go over what I got this particular month. I tend to lean towards the fruity stuff. I used to be a dessert guy. Hands down, I was a dessert guy, and I got off the desserts and I've gone to fruits just because I thought the desserts got really one-dimensional for me. And I tend to like liquids with like a nice flavor to it. So I think I got some this time. So the first one that I got is from Good Life Vapor. And the bottle looks something like that. And it's called Banana Ice. Doom 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 ice.
I got that one.
All right, so it's the flavor profile is sweet banana candy with icy mint. It's a 50 PG 50 VG by Good Life Vapors out of Albany, Georgia. Oh, I was told here in Georgia that we don't call it Albany, Georgia. It's called Albany, Georgia. So that's that one. The second one that I got is also from Good Life Vapor, and this one is called Island Cooler. Who dat? Island Cooler. Look at John. Island.
Your Alexa talking to you again?
No, I think his mom was yelling at him.
No, it was Alexa.
Oh, okay.
Was your Alexa?
I didn't say that though.
No, I did. I was telling Alexa in the kitchen to shut up.
Oh, okay. So this one's called.
Sing a song to Tim.
Yeah, don't. Island Cooler. This is Island Pineapple and Fresh Berries. Ooh. So both of those actually sound pretty good. The next one that I got is from Elysian Labs. This one is called Dragon Glass. This one actually sounds awesome too. This is a mango blueberry dragon fruit menthol. So that one I will look forward to in the Caliburn G or the Cocoa. That's Elysian. And this one's an oldie but a goodie. This one just seems to have been kind of hovering around forever. But this one is from Slush, and it's called Lemon Lime Slush. I'm sure everybody's probably had that one in some variety. Really probably in the freebase version. Mm-hmm. I remember this one coming up quite often in my friends' boxes. Next, here we got one from the Chubby Baker. The Chubby Baker. Kind of looks like the other guys too, but I got that. But this is from Chubby Baker, and this one is called Strawnana. This is when they try to mush two flavor words together.
Yeah.
So you guys can probably guess what the flavor profile is.
What is
Strawberry and banana. Stranana. And then last but not least, this is actually a pretty good e-liquid line. So, and again, to people who don't get a sub from ZampleBox, you're not getting like bathtub e-liquids. You're getting premium level e-liquids from reputable companies. And this one is from Juicehead, and this one's called Peach Pear. So that one should be real fruity and tasty. Good. So I see people with this one all the time in pictures. Yeah. So I know that they're a real popular brand. So, but that's just an example of what you get in your box. I don't have any more because I only got 6.
You only got 6.
Juice. Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. I am like overloading on juice anymore.
Yeah.
If I could show you guys a picture, I've got quite a bit up there on the shelf. So I tried to slow it down by going with a smaller size box.
Yeah. That damn Alexa.
It's not helping.
Yeah, someone set. I think my daughter set a 7:30 alarm on my leg, so it's screaming through the whole house.
God.
And it's like, can you adjust the volume on that damn thing for the alarm?
Say aloha, turn it down.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually, mine's the portal in the kitchen that keeps going off.
What do you mean portal?
Portal, Facebook portal.
I don't understand what.
Yeah, it's a TV screen on it, so people can FaceTime each other on Facebook, but it has Alexa on it too.
Wow.
So
I don't know about that. I got the show. I got like the 10-inch shows in some of the rooms.
Portal in the kitchen, and then Alexa in the rest of the house. But that one goes off, and it sets off the other ones like crazy. So the whole house is just screaming, your next order, and the other one's screaming, it is 7:30 and your alarm is off, and the other one, get the window. Are you
there? Okay, see that?
Vaping indoors.
Brought it right back.
I like how you did the magic there and made it go away. You just did a little wipe the screen off there.
Do a little bit of one of them. Cleans it right up.
No, what you needed to do is you needed to grab your ZampleBox cloth.
I have a couple of those. Yeah, exactly. You just got to wipe your glass down, because when you're vaping on a live show, you're gonna cloud up your screen a little bit.
I think next week we should all wear our mask for ZampleBox.
What do they call those things? They're not called a mask. What are they called?
I forget.
Face covering.
Yeah, we should all wear it to start the show next week. I think we all have one. Do you have one, Brian?
No,
I got 2 of them.
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
Well, I got the one in the box when they finally started pushing them out, and then lo and behold, the next box that came through, I guess the systems were on overload, and I got a second one.
I think they ordered too many is what they did, and they figured, well, let's just ship them out again. Let's get everybody.
Yeah, there's a specific name for that kind of covering, though. That's not your run-of-the-mill mask. It's called,
I don't know what they call them, but
it's like basically a turtleneck.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a dickie. It's a ZampleBox dickie is what it is.
Term, a neck gator.
Neck gator.
Neck gator. There you go. Whoever decided to come up with that stupid name.
I'm going to try it on for
John is going to model the neck gator from ZampleBox, so everybody can get really freaking excited about what this thing looks like. Look at that.
So how's everybody doing tonight?
Well, at least we can hear you. I think that's the one thing that probably drives me batty, is that people with masks on all sound all muffled and stuff.
I think they went a little too big with the logo on there, though. But
but it's stylish, though. I mean, at least you're supporting the company that you have for quite some time.
It covers your nose well. I mean, it fits snug. I know Tom has an issue because Tom has a big head, but but it's nice to be able to pull it down. And I mean, I don't live where it's very cold.
Charles, no, that was a promo they were running several months back.
Yeah,
it was still kind of like maybe midway through the whole COVID thing.
Yeah,
and they did a promotion where it was July, I believe, June or July they did it. And they were just pushing out the neck gaiters at that time.
Yeah,
but they do from time to time, Charles. They do little promotional things. They'll throw extra stuff in the box.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because it was actually a suggestion from us, and which is very cool that a company takes the time to listen to those suggestions. Like, hey, they saw what was going on. They asked us what they thought we should put in the box extra, and then this product came up. It would be nice to have, something, other than, because it was at that time where everybody was just trying to figure out what they could do because there was no mask, remember? So everybody was wearing bandanas and they were wearing all kinds of stuff around.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to get them, or people were kind of making their own.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool that ZampleBox went ahead and said, yeah, we can put those in your box. And voila, we got them. Let me take Tim off of the big screen because I know he doesn't like it.
I don't care. I just figure everybody else gets tired of looking at my big fat head.
There it is.
John, is there anything else needed add to my list for 20 here?
What is this? Sign notes and box.
Did he spell that right? Gator, Gai, like G.
Yeah, he spelled it right.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, he spelled it right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should talk to them about doing a second round of neck gators.
Yeah.
Amber wants a big ZampleBot fat head thing like Anthony's got for her wall.
So,
I knew that.
so Zach, if we give you back the Gobstopper juice, do we get to own the factory and
Got it.
do we get to run it for the rest of our lives and take responsibility for the Oompas?
Hey, is the trade page open again?
I don't think so.
No,
I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh, Tom, you're in that page. You run that page.
admin for it. It's still down.
It's still down. Is it something that you guys have to pursue with ZampleBox? I mean, with Facebook, or is that something ZampleBox has to step in? Or I don't know how. What was Facebook's reason for shutting the? They never gave it to anyone.
Never gave us a reason, and it's up for being contested now or reviewed or whatever, but we haven't heard nothing back.
I'm going to just lean on the fact that they were seeing that it was a place for transactional stuff regarding quote unquote tobacco products.
Yeah, money being traded through there.
No, I get it. I mean, I know the reality of the page. I'm just saying, I think a lot of these companies consider what kind of litigation could happen to them, if something were to go, because I mean, you can spend any reasonable amount on Facebook and see some of these buy sell trade groups, and so much bullshit goes on in those groups. Yeah. People getting taken. There was one I saw just yesterday or this morning where some guy had bought a bunch of stuff from a guy in one of the groups and actually paid through PayPal, and then the guy put the shit in a box and shipped it to him with pictures of the labels and everything. And then the guy went in and contested all the charges, and basically got all of them reversed.
Yeah.
So not only did the guy not spend the money, but he got all the shit that was sent to him in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, some of the buy sites, they're still up and running. I just find it odd that they would attack that trading page, and there's no money being there's no money being traded in that page. It's basically juice for juice. So basically it was a Facebook group page that was designated for ZampleBox members. You had to be a ZampleBox member to be in that page, and it gave you an opportunity to trade some of the flavors that you got each month that you didn't enjoy with someone else that enjoyed those flavors and may have had a flavor that you enjoyed. So it was a great page, and it was
fantastic.
Yeah, and it gave you an opportunity to get, instead of just taking that bottle and throwing it away, you got an opportunity to trade it with somebody. Wow, this feels good around the neck.
And the only thing that we did,
I think John's going to be vaping after sex tonight. John's going to have sex with his ZampleBox neck gator.
I'm going to go find what's her name,
Bonnie Herzog. I'm sure she probably already got a restraining order out on me, so I don't even
already filed one already for me. That fucking John on that vape show. Make sure that guy doesn't. I'm now not allowed in the city of New York.
So when you go on your first date, are you gonna let us know how it works, how it is, or I mean, you got a week, so
a week for what?
to let us know how your date went with her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we want a full report. Everybody here in the room wants to know how your
Yeah,
date with Bonnie went.
report.
Because we know you're not going to get a date with Taylor. That
Yeah.
ain't happening. But.
Yeah, Taylor's out of yeah. I'm realizing she's too young for
Uh-oh.
me.
There it went.
What did we got here?
This happens once a night.
Somebody put up a question, I thought maybe we could go ahead and
There's been a few topics in here I've been kind of thinking about here.
I think it was Zachary that asked, what was our worst juice we have ever vaped?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, I can already tell you exactly what it is because I remember it, and I was like, it was the most disgusting rat's ass bottle of juice I ever got in my sub box, and it was I don't remember the company, but they were like a boutique company that popped up for a period of time. Poet, that was the brand name, and the flavor was a pistachio, and that was the grossest shit I have ever vaped in my entire life. I took one puff off of that, and I about friggin' had a coronary.
Were you like, okay, now I gotta scrub with bleach my fucking tank and RD80?
I would much rather live with a lingering like melon flavor in my cotton for about 3 days than ever vape that shit again.
So I actually don't mind some pistachio ones. Like there's one I actually like. It's yogurt nougat pistachio, which is actually really good. Nice mellow flavor to it. But for my worst juice,
God, I'm trying to think too, man.
I know. So like for me, I don't vape certain juices, and I think those are worse to me than like knowing I'm not gonna like the juice and still vape it versus vaping something and not knowing what it is, and you're like, what is this? This is just ugly. You know,
John,
so like tease me.
This was ugly. Damn, that's really going out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a few of those. Can't remember what the name brands were though.
Hey Tom, do you remember that flavor that everybody was ripping on ZampleBox? So that was the worst. It's something. It was gypsy juice.
I know the one you're talking about. I just can't think of it right now.
God, that thing was so disgusting. I remember getting it, and I was like, okay, why is there fucking shitting on this juice? And I was like, it can't be that bad. And then of course, you're always thinking, okay, maybe it's just their taste buds. It's something they don't enjoy. But damn, when I hit that thing, man, I went as far as ripping the coils out of my RDA, and I was just like, no, I don't think I could ever get that flavor out of the RDA, out of my coils. And I ripped the coils out and started out with a new set of coils, and it was something gypsy.
Mine was from FJ, EJ, something like that. And it was supposed to be a churro. Now, I'm a fat bastard. I like churros. I do. I had to throw that whole RDA away.
Crab juicy liquid. Yeah, I wish I could remember that brand, but I remember it was so bad that ZampleBox, I think, pulled it from the order because it was just when you get 20 or 30 people bitching about it, but when you got a Facebook group page with like 10-15,000 people, and you got thousands of people just saying, oh my God, what was this that I just vaped? Oh God.
Yeah, I've had some other ones that just. I was saying, I wonder if this wouldn't be a way to try to consolidate the poll question next week.
Okay.
But there's just so many flavors. Like, how do you consolidate into a poll?
I would have to leave the option open for everyone to add their option in there. And the problem that happens with that is someone will know a brand by a certain name, and then the other one will kind of twist. It would be the same flavor, the same brand, but they worded it different, and the poll would just be off.
Yeah, it would be like 8 bajillion friggin' things. No, it was something that.
Who said killer custard?
Zach said earlier. Hold on.
Yeah, Jackson said, "I'm not."
No, Zach said something. I'm trying to find it.
Custard.
It's scrolling too fast.
I love.
Yeah, I think for me it's gonna be like a peppermint or a cinnamon flavor one that I had a while ago, and It was like a peppermint cinnamon. Like it's supposed to be like a Christmassy flavored one that came out, and it pretty much stayed all over my RDA walls and my cotton and everything else, and I could not get it out for the life of me. I even ultrasonic cleaned it, still couldn't get it out. I had to throw out one of my RDAs because of it.
Yeah, with the churros, what I've noticed with the churros is I enjoy the churros at a lower wattage. I think once you start getting to a certain wattage with it tastes like a burnt it tastes like burnt dough to me.
Nothing would have helped this one.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah. You think do you think it was the churro flavor, or did it have anything else in it? Was it because most of them come with cinnamon?
It was all churros come with cinnamon.
Yeah.
It was churro and ice cream, like it was
ice cream,
ice cream sandwich.
Yeah,
and it sounded phenomenal. I was all excited. It's not for me to get excited over eating it, guys.
Did you take it outside and shoot it with your bow?
Oh, I should have. I'd have used the one on the bottom right there.
Yeah, I would have shot that damn thing. Pull. Just throw just up in the air. Pull.
No, I took like one hit and I'm like, all right, that's gonna make me throw up.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the other ones. I
would have loved to have been a part of the worst tasting e-liquid challenges that they had in the past.
I tell you, we have
just to do it one time.
We have somebody that can put those flavors together for us, and I think can actually ship them out, because I get flavors from him all the time in really small bottles.
Yeah,
and we can have that done if you guys really want to do that. And but here's the thing, it would be each one of us would be getting like 3 mystery flavors. I will decide what the flavors are, and you guys will get 3 mystery.
I think we should do it. What's the consensus in the group? Should we do like a worst tasting e-juice thing on the live show?
I say yes. No. It would be me getting an actual mixologist to put these flavors together for us, and then ship us 3 of surprise, no name flavors to each one of us.
I think that would be brilliant on a live show.
We got to have some kind of a way to differentiate what's what.
No,
just put ABC on it. Just put like letters, and we all have to do A at the same time.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Not just. Don't be sending me just some random ass bottle like that.
Yeah, like put a little sticker on it that says A, B, or C, and then that way we can all just. Yeah. I want to see everybody's reaction. I'm sure everybody watching would love to see the reaction.
Yeah, I've had the guy who makes this one, that one. He actually made like a really, really bad e-liquid. I've tried that one. Like I knew it was going to be bad. I still tried it anyways. So it wasn't really like something like my worst flavor, I should say, because I knew going into it, it was crap.
Yeah.
Right.
It was supposed to be that way.
The guy you're talking about also made
Alan
I've talked with him before.
Yep.
He's also made what the worst tasting liquid people from the ZampleBox channel.
Yep.
The worst one they've ever had, called Wet Dreams.
Wet Dreams is pretty bad.
And no.
Yep. I think that's the one I had.
I'm going to say right now, no, I will not.
Yep.
Not that one.
I've had it. He actually had it in, when I saw him at a show, he had it in one of his drippers just on purpose for this reason. And I tried it. And
come on, Chad, be nice to us.
It was pretty bad. But I don't have a problem with doing this. I just need to find the right RDA that I don't care about throwing away part is my issue.
Dude, you got boxes full of shit that's like 20 years old. There's plenty in that box you can use.
I got like 10 ZampleBox boxes full of RDAs. I'll send you a few.
I was going to say, I think we should all use this. We can use different mods, but the same RDA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that kind of limits me, though. I mean, I've only got so many. Goon. Everybody has to do it on a goon.
I want Tom to fill a whole tank with it. And a whole RTA with it.
If you got those like really cheap disposable tanks, you get them to your house, John, you fill them all up, and then you put
we could do that. We could
Yeah.
we could do that. Don't they have cheaper ones that? Because I don't want to fill up a whole tank with it. I mean, I just want to drop a few drops on some cotton and go.
I think the RDA drops are better than
just do it with a
burning
dripper.
the whole tank that you're never gonna ever fucking use again.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
it would be
I'm pretty
great.
sure we can find some really cheap, like single coil RDAs.
You know what would be awesome?
The Wasp Nano.
Well, either that or you know what would actually be probably
we
the
all have
cool.
a goon, right? We all
I have a goon. I
We all
got
have a
I got 3 of the fuckers
I'm
and
not using
and
my
an
goon.
LP.
I don't have a goon.
Brian, did you say you don't want to ruin your goon?
No, you know what would be great if we all still had the little bridgeless friggin' little
Example, yeah, they don't sell-
Cardos, you know? I don't
Yeah.
even know if you can buy those anymore.
Yeah, ZampleBox used to sell them, but I don't think they're on there anymore.
I looked around for them just because I was having a reminiscing period, and I'm like, hey, can you still buy those bridgeless little
Yeah, those worked great when you used to. I used to go
Zips?
with,
Zach's like, just go with Wet Dreams at 200 watts. Just,
yeah.
I like my lungs
just
inside
kill
my body.
yourself.
Yeah, I will come up with a list of 12 flavors that I think would be gross and have them make them, and then just put A, B, and C. And
Yeah, but how are you need to be involved equally though? Like you should.
I'm 12. That's 12. 12
Can't
years
you go to him and say, I want you to come up with 3 unique, really bad flavors that even I don't know what they are, and just label them A, B, C. We'll go out to all the hosts, and then on that particular night when because you know everybody's going to tune in for that, because I mean, just people, they love to watch people suffer.
They love pain.
Oh my god! And then that way, if anything, you can have a sealed envelope from him that reveal the flavors. You're not allowed to open the damn thing. And then at the end of it all, then we can open it up and go, A was, I don't know, skunk's ass crack or something. I don't fucking know.
Used bar soap.
What if you do like one good flavor and then like 2 like crappy flavors or something? Like we have to like vape one as we go, and figure out like which is like the crappy one.
Yeah. They're all going to be crappy.
Yeah, they're all going to be crappy.
They're all going to be crappy. I mean, do you want us to rate the crappiness of the 3?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I think
because you know
what I want you to do is tell me,
and I'll make a chart of it, and we'll make a graph and figure out which ones are worth.
Graphs. Brian with his charts and his graphs.
Nuclear reaction with the flux capacitor. Carry the 2, changing its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider. Fuck you, science.
Science.
Fuck you, science.
No. What I have you do is rate how bad it is. Number 2, it would be actually to see who gets the closest to the actual profile.
Yeah, we got to guess what it is.
Yeah, and we'll see who actually
that's
gets.
gonna be hard.
We're gonna have to do this when Anthony's here too. Just get everybody. We can't. Madison can't because
she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant. She's a no go.
It tastes a little bit like
I have an idea.
Tom's got it. I
have an idea for a Madison stand-in. Amber.
Yeah, we'll get Amber on.
I was actually going to.
We'll get Amber to put herself through torture.
Yeah.
Later, Charles.
Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
We are done, guys. Let me get to. Oh, my back hurts.
All right.
Let's get to our goodbyes, and let's start with Tom.
What? What am I doing?
Your goodbyes.
Say goodbye, Tom.
Say goodbye. Bye. Bye. Wisconsin.
Thanks, chat, for joining in tonight. I'll see you next week. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
That's all, folks.
Mr. Brian, ND with the snowflakes. What you got?
I want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in and chit-chatting in the chat. I always love chit-chatting with people. I try to monitor that as best I can. So if I'm not really typing, I can't do type and talk at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, you can do more. You can.
Let's not throw chewing gum into that mix either.
Yeah. I appreciate everyone tuning in and watching. I hope everyone has a good year and so far. And yeah,
you're going for the whole year. Damn.
Yeah, I really think that it's one of those things where 2020 has been a long year, and right now this first week of 2021, I feel like is going to be even better than 2020. So
It's been good to me. I won $400 on a scratcher.
yeah, see, exactly. We're on the upset right now.
I
I
heard
can
will be here tomorrow, so 2021 is looking great.
And
Yeah, I can actually go out and do stuff now. It's great.
I didn't have to pay taxes either. All right. I'm going to go and let Tim go last. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It's always good seeing you guys. We love seeing our regulars come on, Bill. It's always awesome seeing you in our chat and helping us out. And one of these days, Bill, when you want to join the show and actually come on and let people see you, and we'll spotlight you. We'll get you an opportunity to share any information that you have that we may not have shared on the show. So think about it. Also, again, stress what we talked about earlier in the show, and just be as calm as you can be when you're discussing our situation with people outside the bubble, and take the time to actually talk to these people. We need everybody on board right now. We need vapors, we need non-vapors, we need family, we need friends, we need everybody to join this fight with us, because numbers make a difference, and so we need numbers right now. So anybody that you can talk to, especially because I mean we've all been in this situation. Some stranger just walks up to us because they have no clue what we're doing, and they see you vaping and they ask you that vaping question. This is a perfect opportunity to get that guy on board. So take advantage of that, and again, stay calm when you're doing it. Stick to the facts, and hopefully get that person on board. And Tim, it's all you. Tim.
How do I follow up those three? I don't even know where to start. So, well, first off, I just want to say to everybody, because we didn't really have like a New Year's show, but happy 2021 to everybody. I totally enjoy everybody taking part in the chat group and being part of the show. We saw some new faces tonight. Looks like we might have some people coming back again next week. We love having you guys here. Love the conversation. Love the back and forth, because really, I'll say it again. It's been said before, but you missed those shows. No penalty, no harm, no foul.
You can still watch them.
Yeah, but you can go back and watch them. But moreover, we're about the community. This is a show that we were fortunate enough to be given some time on the ZampleBox channel. We're just like you guys. I mean, we're consumer advocates. We're just consumers who are taking our own journeys, just like you guys are, and are involved in vaping. And so we're not at some top rung of the vape industry or anything like that. We're just basically people who like to speak out on it and enjoy it just as much as you. So we really appreciate everybody getting on the live stream and conversing with us, because that's what we really want to do. We want to keep that conversation going. So what John said certainly applies. But being the advocacy guy, or at least the one who reports on it quite often, I will just reiterate that, it's important for everybody to keep your eyes and your ears open, your heads on a swivel with regards to advocacy. Use the vehicles and the avenues that are presented to you to speak out on it. Reach your local level legislators, even the ones in DC when you can. Don't stop the fight. I mean, odds are things are probably going to get worse before they get better. But we can't just throw in the towel, and this is a fight that's going to have to endure if we want to keep something around that's going to keep us with our families, with our friends, keep us, healthier than smoking. So it's not worth just giving up. So that's my 2 cents with regard to that. Beyond that, kids, don't eat chocolate during the holiday season. Fucking 52, and I'm still breaking out with zits and stuff. So I mean, that's my beauty. That's my beauty care thing. I don't know. Like, look at that fucking North Star hanging out on my chin.
Now Tim brought that up. Tim brought that up, but that's pissing me off too as well, Tim. I have never had an acne issue my entire life. I've had maybe 4 or 5 zits my entire life. I turned 52 and I start getting them. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man?
I know. I'm wrestling with that whole entire thing in my life. I mean, like, okay, I get it. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic, but I'm over 50 and I got hair coming out of places that I've never had hair growing before. But at any rate, just lay off the chocolate, because apparently like that crap happens. Anyhow, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you again next week with news advocacy and me running my mouth.
Yes.
Well, if you had a beard, you wouldn't have acne issues.
And
Right.
John, do you want to do the times? I think it's
Yeah,
John's
well,
turn.
hold on. If you're new to the ZampleBox channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell, the notification on the bottom right hand side, and that'll let you know when there's new content loaded on the page. And I'm going to go to Brian. Brian, what time does the show start on ZampleBox on all the time zones?
Well, it starts in my time zone, which is the important one,
No,
at
you
8
start.
p.m. At 8 p.m. Central. And then on Mountain Time, it actually goes to 5 p.m., 7
Yeah.
p.m. Central.
Look, here's
And then
one.
it goes to 6 p.m. on your time, which is the not good time. And then over where Tim is at, that's at 9 p.m.
Thank you. Yes, the show starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the rest of the times you can Google.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
Ask a-hole, the thing that sits on your desk with you.
ask Alexa. All right, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 6 p.m.